Welcome to my disaster area. This is Redacted Harms. Today we're going to be looking at the Maxim roller delayed blowback and why I bought it, and comparing it to a regular 7.7 ounce Aero solid buffer. We're going to be running it in my AR9 that is set up for Colt magazines, because that's how every AR9 should be. The reason I bought the Maxim Defense roller delayed blowback mechanism is because this particular AR9 is equipped with a Hoffman Tactical Super Safety active trigger system. Before we start shooting, a couple things to note. This particular firearm was originally set up as a pistol, and I had a 5-inch barrel on it, but it does not work with this Maxim Defense roller delayed blowback. It does not generate enough pressure to actually cycle the system then. So we're going to start out with just the solid buffer, and then we'll see why I switched. This is a tub flat wire spring, by the way. And I will be running 165 grain subsonics with a suppressor on this for the neighbors. Okay, so as you can see, we had an out of battery discharge. This is pretty much what I had always been having with this firearm in active trigger mode, and which I was kind of surprised that the first string got off pretty much without a hitch. That was hammer follow. I had a light primer strike on that one that I ejected right there, but I had previously just been having, it was every second to third shot was a out of battery discharge like this one. Okay, I'll see if I can try to do this all on camera. There's our out of battery discharge. Add it to my collection. Here's another one. Nice. Now, one thing that Hoffman Tactical had mentioned to me was that he thought it was actually a spec issue with the hammer follow, and I don't think that he had actually experienced the outer battery discharges like I have, and which, like I said, I was surprised that first one was a hammer follow and not an out of battery discharge, which all of my other testing has been with my 5-inch barrel. So that might have something to do with it. So here we'll measure my particular bolt. Now you will note that I have removed the weight in there for the Maxim Defense roller delayed blowback, which that will change your geometry in here. And it will bring that out about right here. And yeah, so if we just go, wow, if we just go right across right here, we're running 2.234. You get the idea. Wow, I just can't seem to get accurate measurements today. 1 inch, that's 2 inch. Well, let's try this guy again. 2.24. It's 2.24, okay. Let's throw those hunks of junk over there. This right here is a standard AR-15 bolt carrier group. Well, looks like today we won't be measuring in thousandths. They're roughly the same. we're in single mode, everything works fine. Okay. Now, if we put it in active mode, so if I squeeze the trigger, so it comes back, actively helps the trigger forward, comes back, forward, you can shoot, okay? Now the issue is if we have bolt bounce, so if it comes back, comes right here. Now if the bolt comes back, I can still shoot, just like that. And that's where you get an out of battery discharge. Now we're going to look at the unique misery of installing the Maxim roller delayed blowback with a super safety. It's easy without one. So for whatever reason, today I haven't been able to get these things out. I can get this one in with the super safety, but out is out of the question. Now, I always have troubles getting the Maxim Defense in and out with the super safety because that stupid little highly necessary ear sticks up. But so I'm going to do what I normally do, which is unscrew the buffer tube. And yeah, I know it would have been easier if I hadn't have gone and popped that out past the stopper. Since this is a self-contained recoil spring, it's nice. Woohoo! That was torqued to spec. Okay, now we're ready to go. Now, one thing people talk about with the Maxim Defense roller delayed blowback is that it is hard to charge. Yeah, it's harder. It's not hard. There's definitely a little bit of a you have to overcome. I mean, I can do it with my pinky. Some people say that some ladies have issues with getting it to actually cock because it's hard. Maybe. I don't know. It's not unrealistic, though. It's, yeah. There are some minor issues that are inherent with the design of the super safety, and that is that if you fire, then you cannot change what position your selector is in. You have to recock, and you can change it to safety or to active. Now, another thing is if your bolt is back, you cannot change it either. You have to cock it before you can change it. Just something to keep in mind. The hammer has to be back and the bolt forward in order to be able to actually change your selection. So we'll go out and test it with the Maxim Defense with a can. A very large can. And so there's some of my thoughts on the Hoffman Tactical Super Safety and the Maxim Defense Roller Delayed Blowback System. Now, the 5.56 runs a lot slower than both the 9mm and the 300 Blackout. The 9mm has a lot less mass to hold the bolt closed than normally with a regular 9mm buffer, so you will have a higher speed. Now, if we did have that 7.7 ounce in there, it would probably run a lot slower, somewhat slower probably, but and the 5.56 also generally runs slower because it has a longer gas system than like the 300 Blackout, which runs quite fast with this because it has a pistol length gas system, even with a 16-inch barrel. And as you can see, I'm not quite used to the recoil of shooting this fast. Now, as you noticed earlier, the mag did drop out of it with my initial test, and that's why I held on to it later. It does do that sometimes with this particular gun. I'm still tweaking with that. All my guns I'm tweaking with all the time. And which, as you might have observed, this does have a drop-in adapter for Colts, which is a very tight fit. I had to press it in, and I had not actually planned on making this a permanent 9mm when I initially put this together. But with the press-in fit, it's a permanent 9mm, which I kind of like. Now, some people have theorized about the quietness of the Maxim defense versus the AR9 standard solid, direct blowback. I have not actually tested this. Maybe I will at a future date. I had kind of planned on rolling that into this video, but it was just too windy out there to have actual accurate audio. Which, while we're talking about audio, I am using a Zoom recorder. It's the F1, and here's my shotgun mic for outside. We'll see how that actually did. It's kind of windy out. And one thing, if you're actually comparing suppressed to unsuppressed, or you're actually trying to compare audio levels between one can or another, you need to have your limiter off and then adjust your settings so that you can actually get an accurate relative measurement. Because as everybody knows, you watch YouTube videos, some dude goes tick, tick, tick with his gun, and then he puts a can on it and goes tick, 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 and it sounds the same. It's like, come on, peoples. Like, figure a little bit of audio out, okay? And my audio probably really sucked in this, though, so I have no room to speak. So there's that.